This is Cuenca, Ecuador. It's a beautiful city surrounded by mountains and the place my team and I called home for the month of November, our second month of the World Race. Our hosts were Bobby and Lori Leek, an American couple from New Jersey who have lived here for about 7 years and came as independent missionaries with a vision to plant churches and reach the lost. With open arms, they welcomed us into their home, which was actually their old home as they just recently moved into a new one. We had plenty of space, a kitchen to cook all our own meals, and a courtyard, which of course was the perfect place to use as my gym for the month. The only thing missing from this house was Wi-Fi, so the bakery just down the street became our favorite go-to spot, meaning every time we wanted to send a message, we had to eat a pastry. It really wasn't the worst thing. Ministry this month took on a few different faces. One of the first things we did was restock the food bank at our home church, Iglesia Impacto, for families in need. Then we headed up the mountain to a very small community called Hima, where we joined forces with a missionary team from Oregon and painted a school. There's only about 10 students who attend here, and many of them come from families that are too poor to afford food for lunch, so the teacher often ends up giving them hers. It was a long day of painting with terrible toilet situations, but it was a privilege to be a part of a project that hopefully showed those kids that they matter, they are seen, and they are loved. Another mountain community we had the pleasure of visiting was called Quindio. We were a part of a large team of doctors, nurses, missionaries, and volunteers who all helped to put on a medical clinic for those who don't have access to medical care on a regular basis. While some of us played with the kids throughout the day, the rest of us made temporary rooms for privacy, and it wasn't long before the people started to show up. Many of the medications we brought with us were for children with STIs from being sexually abused. It's heartbreaking, but many children in these communities as young as 3 years old are the victims of this kind of abuse, and oftentimes from someone in their own family. The long-term missionaries here in Cuenca have been making efforts to change this, but it sure was a good reminder to pray protection over the children we get to play with and hold in our arms throughout our time here and going forward in other countries. The coolest part about this day for me was having the opportunity to use my physical therapy skills. It was incredible to be able to look into the eyes of the indigenous people, hear their stories, educate them on their pain, and pray for them before they left. It was a day I won't soon forget. Our main ministry, however, was working at the cafe that our hosts opened about a month before we arrived. Though their mission is church planting, they found themselves with a large number of Venezuelan refugees in their congregation due to the collapse of the Venezuelan economy, leading them to get creative to provide work for them. This cafe, located right across from the church, is a place to build relationships and ultimately have them encounter Jesus, the name above every other name. To help promote business, we planned a grand opening. The boys got to do some manly tasks like building a wheel for customers to spin for prizes and making furniture out of pallets. The rest of us scrubbed clean old car parts for decorations, helped in the kitchen, and even got to watch our grand opening get advertised on live TV. As a whole, the day was a success, seeing new faces walk through the door and getting to have conversations with some of the locals. Aside from that, we got to teach English several days throughout the week. It was fun to connect with people, get to know them, and even allowed us to brush up on some of our Spanish. Getting to attend church here in Ecuador was a highlight. Not only did we get to worship alongside our Ecuadorian brothers and sisters, but were able to get involved with the Friday night youth group, playing games, DJing beats, leading Bible study, and teaching them the importance of living a servant-hearted life. Sunday school was another ministry we loved being a part of. There was no shortage of energy when around those kids. We played games, danced, ate snacks, colored, and then played more games. Investing in their little hearts made for some sweet memories. One of my favorite days this month was hosting a kids camp. We walked to the local market and asked random parents if we could take their kids to church for the morning and bring them back when we were done. To our surprise, they allowed us perfect strangers to take them. I'll never understand it, but I'm sure glad they did. We got to love on those kiddos through games, dancing, and singing. We also shared with them the Christmas story, emphasizing the saving power of Jesus. These kids were so precious, and getting to plant seeds of truth in their lives is not something I'll ever take for granted. Overall, this month was rich in spiritual growth. Being with my small team of 6, plus our team leader, made for a lot of good discussions and getting to know one another. We hiked together, fought lice together, shared family meals together, which included our favorite Venezuelan roommates and their son, had an American Thanksgiving together, cleaned houses together, and got to explore the beauty of this country together. The people we met here really made this place special. The genuineness of the love that we were shown, the wisdom that was poured into us, and their passion for sharing the gospel has impacted us in a way that we will take with us forever. Ecuador, you will be missed.